You don't say. You don't say. Oh, my word, you don't say. Bye. Who was it? He didn't say.
There's an old curiosity shop. Every once in a while I go by there for the fond recollections that lie there in that old curiosity shop.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Scott from the Old Curiosity Shop, and I'm back today with the Thrift Haul. I'm usually out on the kitchen counter, but I like to shake things up once in a while and change the scenery. I don't want to become boring or too repetitive. I know that some of you enjoy this way, face to face. I don't always like to be face on camera. I kind of like being out in the kitchen, but we're just going to shake it up today and do it that way. I'll take a sip and give you a chance to take a sip of your libation, whatever it may be. I'm drinking black coffee. Many of you remember these. Okay, my grandparents had one on their living room wall as well. Stairway to the Stars, right? I think every high school boy in shop class made one of these. Now, the moon shape is popular in the 1930s. You might have some old black and white photographs, maybe taken at a county fair or the Jersey Shore or something like that, with a person actually sitting in a moon, you know, as a background prop. I wish I had one to show you. But then in the 1950s and 60s, we see these. This is just made out of plywood, probably homemade. It's not signed, and it hangs on the wall like this. There's a little thread here. And I used to, when I would be babysat, well, I wasn't a baby. I was old enough to get in trouble. My elementary school was a block away from my grandparents' house. And in the summertime, my great-grandmother would come down. She still lived on the farm way up in the hills of Pennsylvania, way up above Scranton, way up there. She would come down and spend the summer with her daughter, my grandmother, and we used to get babysat over there. But sometimes for lunch, this is in the days when kids could leave school and walk for lunch. You know, I was about 8 years old. Anyway, I'd go and have lunch. But one of these was on the wall in my grandparents' house. And sitting on it were all of these little rinky-dink dust collectors. My father couldn't stand all that mess. But you know, my grandmother and great-grandmother had all those little things. Maybe a salt and pepper shaker or a little cast iron Amish person. Those little made-in-Japan Oriental Chinese Oriental figures. You know what I'm talking about. Well, I would rearrange would move them in different spots. And my grandmother, everything was where it was supposed to be. And I would stand on the Davenport. They called it a Davenport. That's what my grandparents called their couch. That's old 1930s. I'm just sitting here. Look, we're already, 10 minutes into this video, and I've only shown you one thing. But I hope you can reminisce about stuff like that too. None of this that I'm going to show you is listed yet, but this will be listed. I'm going to have to pull out a photograph of Granny's living room with that thing on the wall. Okay, and then here's this wonderful 1930s Pyrex piece that you saw me thrift. Typical, the glass always has a yellow tint. It's in these little carrying trays. Is it reticulated? I guess it's what you say. Now, I'm a little disappointed. I didn't realize in the store, and you'll be able to see now, boy, they really served up something in this. There are a lot of scratches inside and probably some dishwasher damage. We can see the old Pyrex symbol on the bottom. So I was disappointed that's not coming out. Now hold on. I know vinegar and barkeeper's friend and denture cleaner. Calcium deposits can come up sometimes. They'll come up. But dishwasher damage is actually damage to the surface of the glass. It's not a deposit that's on here. These are little microscopic scratches in the glass. And no denture cleaner and no vinegar and no SOS pad or anything else is going to clean it. So there is a difference between sick glass and calcium deposits that will sometimes come off. We're stuck with this. Okay. But then I realized in there you don't see it. And when you use the piece, it's going to be filled with green bean casserole and sweet potatoes. So what difference does it make? All right, I'm going to try to sell it, but if nobody wants it, I'll keep it. It's a small size. I think it's just perfect for 1 or 2 people, just a small dinner. And then these came in 2 different places. This came a while ago. Now I had one in green that I just sold, and that's the jadeite one. This is Anchor Hocking's Vitrock. Sometimes it'll say Vitrock, V-I-T-R-O-C-K on the bottom, and oftentimes it won't. This has a fired on pink color, and it's sort of an Art Deco design. And then a few days later in another shop I found this piece, which I wasn't familiar with it, but I also believe it to be Anchor Hocking's Vitrock. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to sell these 2 pieces together. I think that makes a charming centerpiece for Easter time, the pink pastel color. You can put your flowers in this and little like jelly beans or chicks down in here, you know, something to decorate for Easter season. So these are going to go together in an upcoming, again, it's not listed yet, but it will be. Now let's look at some Art Deco. What time is it? Okay, not bad. I think I gave you a hint the other day in the thrift shop. Some things are just textbook. And this is the kind of thing that if you were to look up the word Art Deco in the dictionary, you might find a picture of these. Or if you have a book on classic American Art Deco, here you go. This is made by the Sebring Pottery Company in Ohio. It's called Triumph and Hollywood. I didn't look, I'm guessing that Hollywood is the name of the pattern. Let's see, this is the one I think that says Sebring on it. American Limoges. And if I remember, I may have this wrong, I'll tell you, because I'm in and out up here. It's a washing machine of information. I think, no. That's another, forget that. Okay, so it's everything that you want in Art Deco. It's geometric, it's streamlined. We have the sphere here that reminds us of the Perisphere and the Tryon of the 1939 World's Fair. Just as Art Deco as it can be. I love it. I'm not going to start collecting this, so I may change my mind and offer this for sale, or I might just keep it as a good example of Art Deco. Did I clean my fingernails before I did my... I'm always like repairing things and, you know, and so I always have like... get manicures. Well, I was working on a filthy inside of a pump organ, not the one you saw me playing, another one. And I tried to get most of the dirt off my hands, but I don't think I got it all off. More Art Deco. Hall, H-A-L-L. Superior. Quality. What was their big pattern? Jewel tea. Remember the jewel tea man that would come around and sold all those dishes to your mother and grandmother? Same company. Now this is the sort of drippolator coffee pot. It would have the the aluminum canister that fits on the top. You pour the hot water in, the coffee drips in. It's missing. I'll find another one at some point. This came in several different colors. I've had it before in black and cream and silver. I'm keeping this because it's a small size. I like it. And again, very Art Deco. Doesn't this all look great together? If you love Art Deco, you probably watched the Poirot series on PBS with David Suchet as Hercule Poirot. The Art Deco is out of this world, and don't we all love Miss Lemon? I love me some Miss Lemon. Look at this. You saw it in my cart also. It's glass. It's fired on glass. Why does it sound cracked? Now, don't you tell me... No, you're not cracked. That must be... Maybe that's my false teeth rattling. No, I'm kidding. I don't have false teeth. But something... No, there's no crack in this. Okay, I could have done that off camera. Fiesta colors, 1940s colors. I think it's probably Anchor Hocking. These ball pictures were big in that era. This is a small one, so I really like it. Again, as I said, the color is fired on. So you'll see some inconsistencies. It was a cheap way to give color to clear glass. And this is going to be fantastic in a 1940s era kitchen. Here's a piece of carnival glass, which I have not identified yet. I just picked it up. It's got that beautiful marigold color to it, which is probably the most common. Well, that is the most common. We would actually call the color of this clear, because remember, you identify carnival glass by the base color of the glass, which is clear. This is really small, and do whatever you want with it. Put a big cheese ball right in the middle of that. It's pretty, 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 pretty. Speaking of cheese, now what is amazing is these have survived together since circa 1929. Now this is going to date to the late 20s to the early 30s. What do you always find? I always find these orphaned cheese compotes to the cheese and cracker sets. There's the plate, and you'll think right away, oh, it's a nice dinner plate. It's a nice 10-inch dinner plate, but it's got this depression in the middle of it. Like for a teacup, well, it can't be a dinner plate. When you see those, and you go, what is that depression there for? Because it held that, which these were marketed as cheese and cracker sets. And everybody made them. I could sit here and name 20 companies that made cheese and cracker sets, and they all look like this. So it would take a while. Lancaster glass, McKee glass, Jeanette, they all did this cold painted or fired on paint. This one is a little bit nicer. It's got some gold and sort of a built-up decoration here. These little dots of enamel paint, you see that? So it's just great that the cheese and cracker set has stayed together for so long. Cheese here, crackers here. Late 20s into the 30s. Value, eh. But it's not all about value. It's wonderful to find a piece of pink butter print Pyrex like I did a couple days ago that I'm going to be able to just quickly get $150 to $180 for. But it's also a thrill for me to find something like this, which might sell for, I don't know, $15, maybe $30 at the most. My excitement and my passion comes from the pieces that I am interested in, that I like to read about, research, collect, and buy and sell. And that's why you'll see me pass a lot of things by in thrift stores. And that's why you'll see me pass by many things in thrift stores that have value, but I'm just not interested in buying and selling them. Here's a nice piece of glass, a little candy dish with a wonderful opalescent rim on it, or decoration on the fluted edge. It has an embossed flower pattern on the bottom, and it stands up on a little foot like that. It's not ringing any particular bell for me. I'd have to do some looking around to see who made it. Dates to about 1920 or so. Nice to decorate with during the winter season. Put those silver colored, what are they called, candy kisses in there. Or even Valentine's Day, those little red cinnamon hearts. And then a circa 1930s mixing bowl in green. And this is Hocking, if I remember. Sometimes you'll see HG on the bottom for Hocking glass before 1937, and sometimes you'll see the HA for Hazel Atlas. I always get these mixed up. I can never remember whether it's Jeanette Hazel Atlas, Anchor Hocking, little mixing bowl, nice. And then this piece right here, this is the Harker piece. I did look this up, and guess what the pattern is called? It's called Ruffled Tulip. So you guys are right on the tulips. I said crocus. I don't know. I still see a crocus in there, but the pattern is called Ruffled Tulips. Okay, I didn't know there was a ruffled tulip, but that's what the Harkers decided to call it. Harker pottery. And as I said, this has no chips or cracks on it. It's got crazing. And I don't normally buy individual orphaned pieces like this, but it's small. It just is screaming springtime. And isn't it fun to decorate with vintage pieces like this and this in the springtime? It just makes you feel like sitting on the beach in no time. Well, that's what I have to show you. Let me see. Now, none of these things are listed yet in the old curiosity shop, but I'm going to get busy working on it. I'm going to be out and about tomorrow, but then we've got a couple days of snow and ice, and that's okay, but I'll probably be stuck right in there doing my listings. I am taking about 30 packages to the post office today. And probably in tomorrow's video, I haven't decided yet, but I would like to talk a little bit about the United States Post Office, and it may surprise you what I have to say. I also know I still have 2 more parts of depression glass, and I'm still working on those special auctions that I mentioned before, which are coming up later on in, I guess now, February. So that's it, folks. I'm Scott from the Old Curiosity Shop, saying thanks for watching, and so long for now. It's time for another thrift haul. Stay tuned.